Hey everyone, I'm back. Roland Case here from North Carolina State University and North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, talking about the Snapshot USA analysis tool. We're going to be analyzing camera trap data from the Snapshot USA project automatically. And this is the second video in this series. The first one we talked about activity graphs and showed some ways to select the data and make groups. Now we're going to be doing occupancy and detection rates. So this is occupancy is just a percentage of the sites that were occupied. So we've got these camera arrays all across the country, right? It looks like one dot here, but it's actually an array of a number of cameras. And so of those cameras, what percentage of them detected a given species? That's our occupancy. And detection rate is just the total number of detections divided by how many days the cameras were out. So they're both good measures of a species sort of population level, not exactly density, but probably related to their abundance and their distribution. And so we're going to start by adding a group, right? So we've picked our analysis, step 2, add a group. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, let's just start with Bobcat. So I'm going to select Bobcat, and I'm going to just pick let's just pick North Carolina, and I'm going to look at a couple different sites: Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge. Let's look at Mount Glum, and let's look at Umstead State Park and Hill Forest. So I've got those, but if I just add this as a single group, now I get Bobcat 4 locations all combined, right? What I want to do is, instead of as a single group, save as array groups, individual array groups. So this is going to automatically make a different group for each one of those 4 arrays. Check this out. Click this, save groups. Now I've got, right, that 4 locations that we did initially, which would just be a combination of those. So I'm going to delete that. Now we've got Alligator River, Hill, Glum, and Umstead right there. To now generate graphs. You can see it's loading the graphs. It's going to give us the sample size down here, how many observations. So the number in the parentheses, 3, that's how many years the data are. And then observations is how many total detections they had. But these numbers aren't standardized for effort, right? How many locations were there in the case of occupancy, and how many total locations did we get, detections did we get? So now you can see the values here in these small graphs. And if you look on the map, it shows you where the sites are, right? So we've got the blue site, Alligator River, Hill Forest up here, and then Mount Glum out here in the mountains. Notice Umstead, no bobcats, right? I did that on purpose just to show you that if you don't get them, you'll get a 0. We can open this up a little bit more and see this as a bigger graph, looking at those differences. So this is, right, at Alligator River, 73% of the cameras have at least one bobcat. That's a lot. Mount Glum also for bobcats, that's pretty high. In the sort of Piedmont here, a little bit less. We can look at the detection rates. This is rates per day, so 0.07 bobcats per day. Of course, you don't have a fraction of a bobcat, but that's just, less than 1 per day. Pretty low for Hill Forest. Oh, it should float. It should give us a number when you float over, and 0.02. Yeah, there it is, 0.005 for Hill Forest. So that gives you an idea of the sort of relative abundance, showing similar patterns between these 2 sites. But let's think about now. I want to look at Mount Glum bobcats. So let's unclick these, and let's just get Mount Glum. Let's delete these other ones. And now this time, let's go per year. So now save this group. Now we have Mount Glum. Oh, we didn't have data from Mount Glum in 19, so I'll just delete that one. So we have Mount Glum 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So this will show us the bobcat occupancy and detection rate over those years that we sampled at exactly the same site. So how have things changed in the mountains of North Carolina for bobcats since 2020 until 2024? Here you can see the number of observations, 1 year. And you can see it's kind of going up and down a little bit, but relatively stable between a high the first year, 23, 38, 20. So bouncing around a little bit, but still kind of in the same area. This is for occupancy. Detection rate showing a very similar pattern. That gives us an idea of what's going on with one species at one site. And so this will be super interesting to see what you guys find at your sites that have been running for multiple years. So the next thing I want to show you is, well, what if we want to know not just bobcats, but all the species at Mount Glum? Okay, so we have Mount Glum selected. Let me delete these groups. If we go up here to our species, you can see, oh, there's so many species there. But if you click this, filter based on arrays selected below, now it's only showing you the species that were present at Mount Glum. And it's 16 of them. Now on the graphs, you can only make 10 categories at a time. Limited here, it tells you max 10. Oh, and we're going to switch this to individual species groups, but it's still max 10. We're going to do all years that we had data. And so we're going to pick 10 of these. So let's try black bear, coyote, chipmunk, gray squirrel. I know spotted skunk and wood rats, we had them, but they were pretty rare. So we'll do raccoon, striped skunk, possum, white-tailed deer. Oh, we get to pick one more. Let's try weasels. Okay, so now save the groups. Now you can see we've got each group is that one location, all years. And you could just pick one year if you wanted to, but for now I'm picking all years. And that species, generate graphs. Now you can see the number coming in. And so if you want to do more than 10, right? We're limiting you to 10 on this graph, but you can download the data and then download the other species and then combine them yourself and make your own graphs, right? So so you can definitely do more. Here's the results. So we can look at eastern gray squirrels, the highest occupancy, followed by black bear, which is pretty cool. Normally in North Carolina, we get the white-tailed deer as number one, but here in the mountains, not so much. 46% occupancy. And if we look at the detection rate, again, lots of gray squirrels. Number two, bear, not quite as high, et cetera, et cetera. So you can see some of these more rare species. If you float over, it should give you the value. You can also view the data table, right? So there's the results, or you can download the CSV. So again, if you wanted to combine more species than 10, you could download and combine. Okay, so that's the last thing I wanted to do. So I'm gonna do one more. And this is maybe, it's not gonna be super precise, but let's say I want to show you the polygon selecting tool. Let's say you wanted to know coyotes, if coyotes are affected by gray wolves. And so if you know the distribution of gray wolves, we can just select the sites that likely have gray wolves or don't have gray wolves. So let me delete these. And I'm going to say, okay, no, I don't want to filter. Select all, unselect all. So let's just go. Okay, I'm going to start by selecting all sites. And then I'm going to select coyote. Okay, so now we got coyote. Now go down here to draw polygons on the map. So wolves right now are in parts of Oregon, Western Washington, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. Let's just look in the Western U.S. now because I can't get the Wisconsin, Minnesota ones right now. So that's about where there's wolves. So I'm gonna put all years, but I'm gonna write this. It says, oh wait, I didn't say that. There we go. Now we have our polygon. So it says here 19 locations. I'm gonna call this wolves, with wolves. And we're just coyote, right? Yeah, save group. So we were saving, oh no, save the single group. Right, so now we've got coyote with wolves. So that's all these animals. Now let's try, let's add a new group, and we're gonna just do coyotes. We're gonna go back down. We're gonna hide polygon and make a new one. And I'm just gonna select just gonna select the similar area. So it's similar habitats, but we know these areas don't have wolves. Oh, part of Colorado has wolves now, so I'm going to skip those where those wolves are. And part of the Southwest has wolves, but we know these areas don't have wolves. And you could maybe do a little bit of a better job than I did with this one. But now we're going to say coyote locations, no wolves. Save as a single group, right? So now we've got, we have all the years? Yeah, we had all years. I just didn't put it. Okay. So let's see. What do we get? Occupancy with wolves, without wolves, no big difference. Slightly higher without wolves, but not that much of a difference. Let's try detection rate. Oh, this is quite a bit different. Interesting. I didn't quite sure what we'd get here. So with wolves, they have a lower detection rate. So they're in the similar number of places, but their activity is a lot lower where there are no wolves. That's pretty cool because we've now, basically controlled for, and you can see them on the map, right? And you can, if you want to get rid of the polygon, you can say hide polygon. So now you can see like where we sample, which points we've got in each group. And so again, you might be able to do this a bit more carefully, but this is one of the cool things about these polygon tools. So, okay, I think we'll wrap it up for there. Now you've seen how to look at detection rate and occupancy. There's more in the tutorial if you want to see the detail about how these are estimated, how they're calculated. So I'm going to sign off for now, and then we're going to jump to the next analysis, which will be species